Hi guys, Darko here. Welcome to my first 2018 calibration video. In this one, I will show you my advices on how to get more accurate colors and overall better picture on LG's C8 OLED TV. Now C8 is the first LG's model in the lineup featuring new Alpha 9 picture processor, and it's available from 55-inch, the one you're watching right now, to 65 and 77-inch. So it's the only series from 55 to 77-inch. Apart from that, all tips that I will show you are applicable to other models in LG's 2018 lineup, so B8, E8, G8, W8. So what's good about this TV is that it's got really accurate picture presets. However, unfortunately, for SDR and HDR, neither of those accurate presets are activated by default, so you need to do that manually. And just for this example, right now I'm displaying SDR 1080p picture. Right here I'm in cinema mode, but by default you will see it in this mode, in echo mode, and this mode is like standard and other highly inaccurate modes which are activated by default. So my recommendation is for SDR general content that you use one of the following modes. I will now go to all settings, picture mode settings, and click on picture mode. So as you can see, different picture modes are available, but without actually measuring them, you don't know which one is the closest to the original content. What is the most natural and correct way to use without actually measuring it. And I did measure it using Kalman calibration software, and my recommendation is Cinema, Technicolor Expert, ISF Expert Brightroom, or ISF Dark Expert Darkroom. With one exception, in HDR Brightroom, make sure to change color gamut setting to auto, because by default colors are overly saturated in this mode. And actually, I should show it right now. So I'm in Expert Brightroom, and if I scroll down to Expert Controls, you see color gamut mode is set to wide, which means that TV will display all colors to its maximum capability in terms of color rendition. And if you set it to auto, you will see that colors are not as saturated, but they're actually closer to original information than wide. So auto setting should be selected. Alright, so what I showed you until now was for general SDR content. So DVDs, live TV, standard Blu-rays, even some UHD Blu-rays which are not HDR should be used in one of those presets. Next, for HDR format, I will turn to my media player. So as you can see on top right hand side, there is information about HDR signal, and then if I long press settings button, I will go straight to picture. And here you see that some presets share same name like for SDR, but they're different. And here, for example, for HDR10, I recommend Cinema or Technicolor. By default, these presets such as Standard or even Cinema Home are not as accurate. So for HDR10, use Cinema or Technicolor Expert. Next, we have HLG or Hybrid Low Gamma format. So I'll open this video. So you see HLG HDR. And now if I long press settings and go to picture mode settings, here same as with HDR10, I recommend either Cinema or Technicolor Expert to be used. Finally, we have Dolby Vision Dynamic Metadata HDR format, for which I'll select this video. So you see Dolby Vision here. I will again go to settings, and this one has slightly different names, but still here I would recommend that you use cinema mode. Okay, so compared to standard mode or any other, cinema is closest to original information, original video. Next, I will jump back to SDR, this reference picture that I have, and go in detail with Technicolor mode, just to show you which settings this TV offers. So now if I select Technicolor Expert, okay, it's already selected. First option is OLED light, and this option adjusts how bright the image is. So depending on how much light you have in the room and time of the day when you're watching content, you can adjust this, and it will remain fixed like you would do with settings on your smartphone, for example. However, just like on smartphones, some people prefer to have auto brightness adjustment, and you can do it if you go one step before to energy saving. And actually, energy saving set to auto will make light sensor somewhere in the frame of this TV to decrease or increase brightness depending on room lighting conditions. With this function, you don't need to jump from one picture preset if you have one for bright room and the other for dark room. You can just use this setting to auto. So once you do it, if you go deep in details here, you will see that an OLED light is set to energy saving, and there's nothing you can do. Next is white level or contrast control, which is by default set at 85, and that's correct. Brightness, this is black level, and what I noticed on this unit is that some details and shadows were not visible at brightness set at 50, and to reveal those details I had to increase brightness all the way to 55. However, when I did that, I lost true perfect blacks that OLED TVs have, because everything was elevated. And interesting enough, on E8 unit that I reviewed 2 weeks ago, brightness at 50 was correct. So this really depends from unit to unit. Unfortunately, this C8 has this issue. But still, when I was watching content, I cannot say that I really saw some big loss of details and shadow. So I recommend either that you use default 50, or even better that you use some kind of pattern for SDR 8-bit calibration for black level, and make sure that content is visible on 17 and up, and 16 and all values below should be perfectly black, so you should not see any block on such patterns. Sharpness, neutral value is 10, but if you're watching standard definition content and you want to, boost sharpness, you can use this control together with super resolution available in expert settings menu. So default is 10, I like to keep it like that. Color 15 default, tint 0. Okay, let's see what expert controls menu offers. Here we have dynamic contrast, should be off, super resolution off. Here you can play with settings. You have 3 different flavors. This will increase sharpness using upscaling processing. I prefer to keep at default upscaling, it works fine. Color gamut auto, I recommend to keep it like that to get accurate colors. Color filter should be off. Gamma 2.2, what I noticed by default you have gamma set to BT1886 in Technicolor Expert mode, but for me I was able to see more details in shadows in a clearer way using this value. However, you can always play around and see which works better for you. And now we're coming to white balance and color management system. These controls are highly individual and I do not recommend that you copy them. I'll just show what I did here just for you to get understanding which settings I adjusted. But this is only for your information. You should really not copy it unless you just want to try it out. Color temperature, okay, warm 2 is activated by default and it should stay like that also for you. This will get you closest to D65, which is value agreed by 190 plus countries, so that we all see a picture in the same way. Using 2-point method, for dark area I increased red to 1, I left green at 0 and blue at 0. And for bright area where there was need to adjust colors more, I increased red to 2, green to 0 and reduced blue to -7. TV also offers 20-point white balance adjustment, and here you also have gamma control. This adjusting luminance will adjust gamma for different levels, but I didn't touch any of this. You can copy all these adjustments to different inputs using this option, apply to all inputs. And regarding colors, so this setting will play with where particular colors are. So you have 6 colors: red, green, blue, magenta, yellow, cyan, and you can adjust for each saturation, tint, and luminance. New in menus this year is apply to all inputs, so now you can copy these adjustments to other inputs. However, I still find it quite confusing that LG is separating this. Maybe there is a reason I don't fully understand, but I would prefer to have one button to copy all settings to all inputs. That way you would have calibrated picture if you hire a calibrator on all inputs without the need to make sure that you really applied every sub-menu to all inputs. Okay, and that's all regarding expert controls. Now let's go to picture options, where you have noise reduction and MPEG noise reduction. Now with Alpha 9 picture processor, LG improved noise reduction. What I can say is now noise reduction is on the same level as with, for example, Philips TVs that have P5 picture processor. And MPEG noise reduction, there are small improvements compared to what I've seen previous years. However, for most of you who are watching digital content, streaming and so on, I really don't see the point of using any of these options. So only if you use VHS or some analog sources, then you might find benefit in improved noise reduction. So I will keep it off. A black level low, this depends on input signal. Motion eye care off. And true motion, I recommend user option with de-judder at 0 and de-blur at 10. Motion Pro is black frame insertion introduced on 2018 models, but I don't like it, just like I don't like it on other brands, not only LG. It's because it introduces flickering and it decreases like 50% of screen luminance, so you will get darker picture that flickers. For me, that's definitely a no-go. Regarding movies, if you want soap opera effect, I recommend clear or smooth, or in user menu increase de-judder. However, if you want to get a smooth movie playback experience without soap opera effect, I recommend keeping settings like they are. You can even disable true motion altogether and enable real cinema here. But for me, I did comparison between TrueMotion user and real cinema engaged, and I can say movies looked great in both cases. And that's it. Here you have applied to all inputs. As I said, not all settings will be copied, only those on this front page. Here you can reset all settings. Okay, and now let me go to one menu up and go to aspect ratio settings. I recommend 16:9 with just scan turned on. Then additional settings, eye comfort mode disabled. HDMI Ultra HD Deep Color should be enabled when using HDR. For SDR it really doesn't matter. Good thing is that TV will automatically suggest that you enable this option, so we don't need to worry about it. Then we have picture test. If you see something not right with the picture, you can test it here. And OLED panel settings, so pixel refresher, this is something that will be engaged when you turn off the TV, so any risk of burn-in really doesn't exist if you turn off the TV on daily basis, but you can also run it anytime through menu here. Screen shift will shift all pixels a bit left and right. Don't worry, this is not visible during watching content, so should be engaged. And logo luminance adjustment, this will reduce luminance of static logos in picture. So for example, if you're watching live TV, then this will just slightly reduce luminance of those logos and so on. For me, so low is really subtle, high is a bit stronger, but still I would advise LG to further increase this. Ideally would be to completely make these logos disappear or appear transparent, but that would involve TV to then make those pixels behind the logo. However, definitely a welcoming new feature. And basically this is it. So even by default you really get a highly accurate picture. Just make sure to switch to these accurate picture presets and play a bit with true motion and sharpness control to get for you satisfactory result. Guys, thank you very much for watching. For new videos on the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you want these settings in PDF form, and you will also get gaming settings in the package, check links below for my PayHip store. And thank you very much for your support and for watching. See you next time. Bye.